Spirit Photography of Days Gone By, Lens Flares? Not Always, by Dennis M. Morrison. In my life, I've been aware of paranormal and spiritual activity around me at many different times. Sometimes it's been very pronounced, and other times rather passive. As a Christian, I'm well aware that there is a spiritual world around us at all times that under ordinary circumstances is not seen. However, sometimes it is, and with the advent of photography, the spiritual realm has made many appearances. This has become even more pronounced in the age of digital photography, but what is bad in that respect is that it's hard to tell what is real and what has been manipulated by computer programs. Back in the old days when film was used, there were many instances of anomalies on photographs. A lot of the time, they've been attributed to lens flares and light leaks in the camera. A closer look should be made, though, as this explanation was pretty pat to explain away the supernatural. This subject of this video is a series of 5 snapshots that were made with a simple box camera back about 1920. These were done in Lower Michigan, northern Lower Michigan actually, and each shows a distinct and very enigmatic anomaly that I believe show very active paranormal activity. I wish I knew the exact location of the farm home in the photos, because it would be quite fascinating to find out if paranormal activity is still going on there. But in these images, it seems very apparent and very dramatic. Now, having said that, let's look at this series of photographs, which I have named the Hoffman images. They are a permanent part of the collections of the Small Lake, Michigan Historical Society. First, let's look at the farmhouse. This really is a spectacular image in my opinion. There are 4 distinct manifestations here. First, take a look at the overall image. I've heard some people claim of this one the standard explanation, lens flare and light leaks. Please. At the door is a particularly strong apparition. This is strong and very bright and is exactly at the door. Lighting looks average, and there would be no practical reason for a lens flare, and there would be no internal source for such bright lighting, as I doubt in this rural area and the period this was made that there was even electric lighting in the farmhouse. And next to the door spirit is a secondary flare spirit at the porch post, which is long and angles to the right, just as the door spirit seems to be doing. At the right of the image is what I consider the most spectacular spirit image I have discovered on film, and I've seen a lot of them. This is quite distinctly the form of a butterfly, or a traditional fairy-type figure. There are 2 wings on the left and an elongated body attached to the wings. The wings on the right side are cut off by the edge of the image. Some have suggested that this is indeed a butterfly right in front of the lens, but there are a number of problems with that. One, it is transparent. Then also, given the state of box camera lenses at this time, the form would have been totally out of focus and not even recognizable as the shape of a butterfly. It would have been a light blob. This is truly an amazing image. Just below the butterfly formation is a small dog, and just in front of him is another bright-looking anomaly. The dog appears to not notice the manifestation at all. Now, this is a most fascinating image, taken on the same farm. I love the car in the background. This is so typically rustic and rural, and neither the lady nor her dog seems aware of the cluster of energy just above them, having nothing to do with this. Notice the board walkway that they have laid out and that they're on. Whether this is a group of spirits or some other sort of energy, this is indeed an amazing photograph. Above the woman's head is what looks like a group of at least 5 or 6 points of energy in flight. I have another image, unfortunately, that of this same setting, which is lost at the moment, but it shows the dog looking up directly at the group. This does not fit the classic description of lens flare or light leak, and is obviously something else going on. But what? This photograph is interesting in a couple respects. First off, for whatever reason, these 2 ladies are in clothes typically worn by men of the era. But directly above the lady on the right and extending down across her left half is an energy which looks rather like an angelic being. In this and the previous image, notice what seems to be wings extending upward and then a robed body extending down, covering with a transparent haze half of the woman on the right. A guardian angel? Perhaps. Now here's another image also taken at the same farm, showing on the right of the trio what looks like the shape of a dove descending. Again, a quite remarkable photograph indeed, and again, this is neither lens flare nor light leakage into the camera box. And we have this young lady who on the back is only identified as Shorty, and she seems to be enjoying a fine summer day on the farm. Her clothing typically early 1920s. But notice above her the same angelic wings we saw in the previous image, and again, though you must look closely, there is the straight line of the robe extending downward. But look at the following image closely, because as I manipulated, and this is the only manipulation done on any of these images, as I manipulated the darkness and the contrast, the young lady appears very much to be displaying a very distinct aura. Now, these are a fascinating series of images, and I've not done a lot of research on them. But these, and they may or not be spirit energy on film. To my estimation, there is no doubt that they are. But you'll, of course, form your own opinion. But old snapshot photos, which seem to have had flaws in them, really deserve a second look, as there may be a whole lot more there than previously thought. You see, these images have a more realistic lean to them than some of the actual spirit photography that was produced for the purpose of being spirit photography back in that era and even before in the Victorian era. Following are a few of those images that are so obviously fraud. And also included in the following images are a couple of the orbs, which so many people today take as spiritual manifestations when they capture them with their digital cameras. To me, orbs are nothing more than dust particles that get caught in the flash, and it's so obvious that that's what they are, but people are so desperate at seeking to be able to produce spirit photographs of their own that they'll grasp at that and say these orbs are spiritual energy. But these images from the past, the snapshots that I've shown you, these were not contrived, and these are not dust particles. These are not lens flares or light leakage into the box camera. These are a phenomenon which, to me, I can only put down as spiritual energy. So I hope you've enjoyed looking at them, and be curious and anxious to see what comments you have to make. Thanks a lot.